it is always a boom. That is, he will be the top in the tens in his state or the country. Entrepreneur means a person who starts his own business. Entrepreneurship means it is a process of setting his own business. Calculative whenever you take any decision, because that one decision can change your entire life. The entrepreneur who should actually take all the risk and all the profit with all the losses. Hello everybody, a warm welcome to one and all. I'm Vidhyaashram from the Department of Business Studies in Vidhyaashram PU College, the Temple of Excellence. This is the last chapter. The chapter name is Entrepreneurship Development, and here you will understand that what it takes to be an entrepreneur. Though the spelling is entrepreneur, but you are supposed to pronounce that as entrepreneurship. Now here I'll tell you what exactly entrepreneurship is all about, who is a person whom we call entrepreneur, and what exactly the process is, how he take all the profits and how he bear all the risk. And I'll tell you what it is: the more the risk, the more the profit. But you should also understand that the more the risk, more the losses. But for any entrepreneur, he'll not think about the losses, but he'll only go with what is the opportunity which I can grab. That is what the passion of any entrepreneur should be. The thing here, entrepreneurship is what? Is a process. Entrepreneurship is a process of setting up one's own business. See, this is what the beauty is. If you have your own business, you are the boss. People will listen what you are supposed to get the work done. And here the thing here is, any entrepreneur, whoever wants to start any business, the first 3 to 4 years, what he feels is that is a struggling period. But I'll tell you what it is. After the third year, the fourth year, if he is more innovative, creative, and he has all the ability to turn the risk into opportunity, then I'll tell you it is always a boom. That is, he will be the top in the tens in his state or the country. And here is what the opportunity to be an entrepreneur. That is, you can lead your way of business the way you want and the way you want always to go. The next here you need to understand is, it is a thing which is from pursuing any other economic activity. Now we know that economic activity means any activity where money is involved, right? That too legally. We call that as economic activity. Here what happens is, the economic activity like employment and profession, whatever it is, they have their own ways. But for any entrepreneur, it is always what? He is the boss. He is the number one who is the boss. The person who set up his business is called as entrepreneur. So entrepreneur means a person who starts his own business. Entrepreneurship means it is a process of setting his own business. Let's see what exactly is the concept of entrepreneur, how that it came to the world. Entrepreneurship was way back after the civilization started, but the person who coined this word is a French economist, and his name is Richard. And Richard Cantillon, he is a person who coined this word called entrepreneurship. And I'll tell you how to remember this entrepreneurship spelling also. You're supposed to go with this: E-N-T-R-E. Entry, done. Entry, done. Next, P-R-E, pre. Then you go with new, N-E. Now instead of W, you are supposed to go with U. And then you are supposed to sail your ship. So we go with S-H-I-P. Now students, if you understand this, entry, pre, new, ship, that is called entrepreneurship. That is how you are supposed to remember the spelling of entrepreneur. R is that, right? R, ship. That is, you are supposed to sail your ship. Entrepreneurship. This is how you are supposed to remember. See, even I made a mistake here, I forgot, but because I recalled, I got to know what exactly I am supposed to write. So always go with how to understand to remember the spelling. Entrepreneurship. Next one is characteristics. Let's see the characteristics of entrepreneurship. The characteristics of entrepreneurship are listed. The first thing is systematic activity. Understand here, it's not a big deal that to start a business, but it's a really big deal to have the business with a constant profit making. Now understand, you should always go with a systematic activity. You cannot do this mumbo jumbo thing the way the employer or the way the employment does. You are supposed to be very sensible and calculative whenever you take any decision, because that one decision can change your entire life. So you should have a systematic activity. That is, what am I supposed to do? If I do something, then what will be the drawback? Everything you are supposed to check, and you need to always move forward by cautious kind of a thinking, or else what happens is your business will come down. Next is lawful and purposeful activity. Please understand this. Any business, whatever you go with entrepreneurship, one is what? It should be lawful. Understand the word kind of a business, right? Business. If you understand business, you will get to know what this entrepreneurship is all about. The main thing is, in business, what happens is it should be legal. It should be what? Legal. The second thing is, you should make profit. You should make profit. And then the third thing here is what? You need to expand and grow. Expand and grow. If you don't, you will have more competition. So the thing is, one is it should be legal. Next is you should always aim for profit. And the thing is expand and grow. When you make this profit, I'll tell you what happens here. Two things. One is you will survive. You will survive. The second thing here is, if you start making profit, you will have more business. You will get more business. I'll give you an example here. All of you have heard about a company called Bata. Now, this company was from Switzerland, right? Switzerland. Done. And the person who started was Thomas Bata, Anna Bata, and Anthony Bata. Now, these three people, that is siblings, they started and they went with it. Now, how this entrepreneurship started? He is the first person, Thomas Bata, to start the Bata as a company. He converted Bata into a company. A cobbler who started, an entrepreneur. Now understand the way he has done. Where was Bata then and where is Bata right now? Understand this. Thing is, one is it was legal. They started to make profit. They started to expand and grow. Now the minute they were making profit, what happened was Germany invaded Switzerland. When they invaded Switzerland, in the sense when they attacked Switzerland, what really happened was everybody who were the Jews, they ran from Germany and they went to some place for hiding. Now what happened? Though they made profit, now because Thomas Bata, he ran from Switzerland, the profit was there, but they couldn't survive. Because there were more profit, some of the employees survived. Understand, you don't know what uncertainty will happen. What is the thing will happen, you really don't know. Later what happened, Antonio Bata, he came to the rescue and then he started the Bata in a new way. And here what happened was, there was a problem with the war, and the war led to what? Scarcity of raw material. When there was scarcity of raw material, what happened? Bata company, which used to manufacture leather boots, they stopped manufacturing leather boots because raw materials were not supplied at a right time. Then they started with one more called Batoki shoe. What is it? Batoki shoe. What is this Batoki shoe? Batoki shoe are the shoes which are like half leather and half textile. Half leather and half textile. And then what happened? This Batoki shoe became very famous. Now what happened? They got more business. So when you have profit, what happens is you can survive even in uncertainty times. And here what happens, the more profit you get, now you can think about something more because you will get more business. And this is what happens for a entrepreneurship also. So the next one is innovation. Now innovation, I told you about this this Bata company, right? Now what is this Bata thing? They started with innovative ideas. Now they wanted to go with only leather shoe because of scarcity. Now again what happened? There was an innovation. that is leather and textile. Batoki shoe was a huge demand, and that is how they survived. Even the company called Tata also, that is Indian Tata, now they started to manufacture passenger car. Now when they started to manufacture passenger car, then what really happened was it came down, the sales came down because the passenger car which the Tata company did was really not good. Now they wanted to sell this company to Ford. Now when they wanted to sell this to Ford company, something happened in Tata, that is Ratan Tata, he thought that he will not sell. He came back to India again and he restarted. Now what happened? Innovation. He did something with innovation, and now where the Tata company is. Understand, this is what happens for an entrepreneur. That is, innovation should be there. You need to always follow the trend of the customer. See, if you follow the trend, what the customer needs, the customer will definitely come and buy the product. Next is organization of production. Yes, the trend which I was telling you, that is the organization of production. You should always have productivity. You should not stop the productivity. Once you stop the productivity, once you are out of the market, you can never come back to the market with the same bang until unless you have creativity or innovation. Next one we have is risk taking. For any entrepreneurship, if you don't take risk, what you were, you will be the same, and some particular time you will decline. I'll tell you here, students, you should always go for opportunity. You should always convert the risk into opportunity. You should be the first person to go and stand in the market, or else what happens is the customer will not know that who you are, who your competitors are, what are your good characters. You will not get to know, you will be not identified. Only when you take risk, and that too risk which are favorable. Understand this. Here risk also you have two things, favorable and unfavorable. You are supposed to go with favorable risk and minimize risk when it is unfavorable to you. Next, here I have given a difference between the entrepreneur and management. It's a sure question. You are supposed to understand what are the differences. I've given the basis and it is the differences. Now here it is differences, right, between entrepreneurship and management. First basis is, let's go with focus. What are they focused? In the entrepreneurship, he is focused to start a business. So we have business startup. He's focused to have his own business. But as a management, what happens is whatever the owner have told, you are supposed to do the same work. So we have something called operations of an existing business. Next one here we have is resource orientation. What exactly happens with the resources? Now here the entrepreneur need to mobilize, that is he should generate and he should always mobilize the resources, whereas there is a constraint in the management. He cannot do it because he don't have the authority. So here constrained by the resources at his disposal. Now whatever he can, he will do it. Whatever he cannot, it is not in his hand because he is just a manager. Next one here is we have opportunity, that is the approach to the task. What exactly the task he'll go? He'll always go with informal, that is something new, he'll go with it. But everything is listed here, what he should do and what he shouldn't do. So there is something called restrictions. So restriction. So what happens? He'll go with formal. Whatever the top management will tell, he is supposed to go with it. Next thing is motivation. What is that motivation? He'll always have something called he has achieved it because it is his business and he has done it. So we have something called achievement for entrepreneurship. But for him, what happens is he has the power to control people who are below him. So he'll have power, but they'll not have achievement. Whatever they achieve, that will not go to them, it will be given to the entrepreneur. So these are the bases which you are supposed to see. The first one we have is something called focus. He's focused on, he'll start a business, but here what happens, whatever is there, he will only assist there. And resource orientation, he will actually mobilize, but here he cannot mobilize, but because he don't have the power. Next is approach the task. What exactly happens is it is always informal. Whatever he wants, he can do it. Whatever he don't want to it, he'll not do it. But here what happens is whether he want it or not, he should do it because he's a worker here. So it is always formal. Next one is the motivation. Here motivation is whatever he gets, whatever he achieves, it is, we call it as achievement. Here what happens is he'll work for the power to acquire, right? So these are the things. The next one here is again status. What happens to the status? For the entrepreneur, it is always a status of being a soul. So it is always called owner. He is the boss. He is the boss. And here for the management, he is always an employee. Whether he gets 2 lakh rupees, 5 lakh rupees, 7 lakh or 10 lakh, whatever it is, end of the day, he is just an employee. Next one here is the reward, that too economic reward. What is that economic reward? The business or the entrepreneur, he gets something called profit. Whatever it is his. Whether it is cross together or lakhs together, it is all his money. But here management, what happens is every month he gets something called salary. He gets something called salary. So it is always this 9 to 5 working hours, right? And he gets salary. But here what happens is 24 into 7, and that too whenever he wants to take a leave, he can take a leave. Next, risk orientation. Here what happens? Risk, understand. For any management, the risk is minimal. It is what? Minimal. For entrepreneur, it is 24 into 7. Always it is a risk. That's why he should always go over and work for 24 into 7. Here is, he is a risk taker. He is a risk taker. But here, risk averse. That means he will give the competition or he'll give the task to people. Next is scale of operation. What is that scale of operation for an entrepreneur? Now for the scale of operation here, what happens is the entrepreneur will perform and he'll go with what? Whether it is a small or a big. But here management, they always go with what? Large business. But here the problem is whether it is a large or a small, whatever it is, he will be considered as a employee. He'll be just a part in that large business, but here he is a boss of a small business. So whatever decision will be taken, the decision is all his. So the next one we have is primary skill. What is the skill the entrepreneur should have and the management should have? The entrepreneur, he should go with 3 of the primary skills. The 3 of the primary is what? One is he should actually get the opportunity spotting concept, that is what is the best thing to be done in the market. The next thing is initiative resources. He should always initiate the resources, mobilize the resources, and then he should know how to deal with the negotiation, that is negotiating the things with the client. Here what happens is he should be very professional and he should have all the technical and the management skills which the management requires. That is, one is organizing, then system design and operating procedure, and managing people. Managing people is a very important role in the business organization by the management. Next one we have is specialization. See, here we have primary, now we have specialization. Now specialization, what happens is journalist has to know and do all the trades by himself. Generally what happens is whatever happens, right, it is the entrepreneur who should actually take all the risk and all the profit with all the losses. So he should be able to understand what is the market and he should take all the things by himself. But whereas the management, what happens is here he should always be a specialist, because whatever happens, it is the management who are answerable. So these are the basis which we go with, that is management and the entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship, just imagine that one person who is starting a business and he is running it successfully or he is running it in a loss. Now all the characteristics you got to know. Now what happens is if he takes all the losses, he can continue or he can withdraw. But when it comes to management, whatever the business takes profit or a loss, he will only get incentives, he'll get salary, and he'll be called as a employee. But here the entrepreneur is always a person who gives employment to the employees. So I always prefer to be an entrepreneur, and these are the things which you are supposed to know. Now students, if you have any doubt, you can always call us, you can always contact us. Till then, I'll see you when I see you.